Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want today's full show before it comes out on YouTube, it is streaming for free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We have that pinned in the comment section below. Make sure you check out and follow the DREAMERSPRO podcast and make sure you leave a review. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So we recently touched on a disturbing report surrounding NBA young star in the NBA, Zion Williamson. As you guys know, Zion came into the NBA with the same class with Ja Morant. Actually, Zion, funny enough, was supposed to be bigger than Ja Morant. Ja Morant, who will be back in 10 days, so we're going to be covering Ja Morant in the next few days. He was supposed to be the bigger draw. Like, coming into the draft, he was the bigger draw. He was the number one pick, right? So there was supposed to be all of this hype and anticipation because Zion Williamson had this frame where he would, he had this big stocky frame and he could jump out of the arena. It was quite incredible. But over the last few years, injuries have held him back. He's not been able to play a lot of games. And a lot of people have attributed that, number one, to his weight, right? Because they said he's too heavy for his frame and given the way that he plays basketball. And some people have felt that it has limited his ability to stay healthy and go out there and perform. But it's not just people in the, in the exterior. It's also people within the New Orleans Pelicans, because they actually put certain mechanisms within his contract that can kick in if he doesn't maintain certain weight levels, which is insane. Which is absolutely insane when you think about what's at stake. You're being paid $200 million to play basketball, and all you need to do is ensure that you develop the requisite discipline to ensure that you're in tip-top shape to go out there and be able to perform every single night at a high level, and fulfill your contract, for God's sakes, right? And then there were reports coming out where they were essentially saying that Zion is tuning out people within the organization, that he's not taking control of his weight. So what happened today? I tuned in to watch ESPN First Take, and they were actually reacting to the results of the in-season tournament between the Lakers and the Indiana Pacers. So while they were talking about Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe. They then moved the conversation to another point where Stephen A. Smith then brings up Zion Williamson, who he seems to be very, very irritated with. So what he did was he then decided to elaborate on why he has been so upset with Zion's progression as a star in the NBA, and more importantly, with the job that he's been doing in terms of getting his weight under control. So for those of you who didn't hear that exchange, I want to quickly play it for you now, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe had to say here.
And last point about Zion Williamson. Have you no shame? Shannon Sharpe, this brother had an opportunity. He's more than 15 years younger than LeBron James. LeBron James is in his 21st season. Forget the talent, because we know Zion Williamson is a big-time talent. The conditioning. I saw the brother go to the free throw line. He looked like he had a belly. It is shameful. You got chefs in New Orleans. I'm not exaggerating. I'm quoting people. You got chefs in New Orleans who love him. They're looking for him. Every chef there wants to meet him because they know he'll show up to their restaurant. The word out on Zion Williamson is that he'll eat the table. I'm quoting. He'll eat the table. What in the hell is going on with Zion Williamson? If Zion Williamson is healthy, conditioned, not missing 63% of his games like he has thus far in his career, New Orleans got a chance, Shannon, to be in a conference championship game. Without him, they're going home in the first round. Have you no pride? Have you no discipline? Have you no focus? Get your stuff together, young man. Get your stuff together. You are too great to be walking around looking as rotund as you're looking. Get it together. Go ahead, Shannon.
Stephen A., you're absolutely right. The very first thing that Zion Williamson should have done once he declared for the NBA draft was call Charles Barkley. Now, whether you refer to as Mr. Barkley, Charles, or Chuck, how did you do it? I want to play a long, healthy career. I believe he's a more athletic Charles Barkley. That's what he looks like. A guy that's explosive. 200. He needs to be 260. He doesn't need to be 300 pounds. And I've told people his eating habits, his diet is unbecoming a professional athlete that's making that kind of money. Oh, let the man live. Well, if you want to live, go ahead, get out of the NBA. Because it's being reported that they've asked him, get your training up to par. Get you a nutritionist. and get your conditioning up to par. And he has yet to do that. Can you see that is robbing you of years because you're injured? It's disappointing because two things are happening. His stomach is going one way and his behind is going the other way. And as a professional athlete, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign, Stephen.
And Shannon, am I accurate? And Shannon, was I accurate when I said he went to the free throw line and I saw a belly? Is that what you saw?
You can look at him and tell he's overweight.
Yeah.
And guess
The
what?
behind one way and the stomach
Yes.
one way.
But you know what? But you know what, guys? Big young people grow to be big old people.
That's right.
And if you're a professional athlete, especially in that sport, that's why he has all the injuries. What are the injuries? Lower body, knees, ankles. Why? Because you're not meant to be able to be that explosive. He's an 18-wheeler with a Ferrari engine. So imagine an 18-wheeler that can go 180 miles an hour and try to slam on brakes. What's going to happen? Stuff's going to start breaking. Stuff's going to start tearing. Zion, you're too good. We're
great.
not beating you.
Great.
We don't.
We're rooting for him.
We want you to be your absolute best.
So this is
And
some
you're-
tough love.
Yes,
This is a little
yes,
tough
you're
love, pep
Yes,
talk.
you're denying that. You're denying yourself
Molly,
the
you realize
opportunity.
that? Molly, do you,
Yeah, I've
you
been
have any
thinking all
idea
the
how,
time
I'm
for
saying,
years.
all joking aside, Molly, this brother walked up, he went to the free throw line and the belly bounced. I'm
Okay,
not
all right.
joking.
Okay.
No, that's not funny. I'm being
not,
dead
I'm not. Well,
serious.
we got- okay.
He got to show up, and he's too great.
So you heard what the gentleman had to say. Listen, here are my thoughts. I can understand their frustration. From Shannon's standpoint, Shannon Sharpe was a former professional athlete. If you look at Shannon Sharpe, he is in excellent shape, which means that he has, he's developed great habits, right? And, he has a lot of self-discipline, especially at that age. To be at the age of 50 and to be in the shape that he's in, you got to stand up and clap for him. I think that's one of the reasons he's also a LeBron James fan. And it is one of the things I do admire about LeBron, which is his commitment to staying in tip-top shape. That in itself, is something that you have to be impressed with. At least I am. Some people may not be, but I am. So I can understand from Shannon, who is someone who played at a high level and was willing to do anything to get out of the circumstances that he was in prior to him becoming an NFL player. So he's like, bro, you're blowing it up. You're blowing an opportunity of a lifetime. So I can understand Shannon Sharpe's position. If you look at Stephen A. Smith's position, I think he's looking at it from the standpoint, listen, I'm someone that's covered sports for a very long time. I've interacted with a lot of athletes. I know a lot of people that would die to be in a position that you're in. And also, I am a hard worker. And Stephen A. Smith is a hard worker. No one accused him of being lazy. He works very hard to earn his dollars. And he cannot understand why someone in the position of Zion, who is earning an average of $35 million per annum, cannot get his weight under control. It is something that I think really eats at him, right? In the case of Zion, I don't know. Right? I don't know. We've heard various reports out there that some people say, well, one of the reasons why Zion is doing this is because he's not happy with being in New Orleans. That's a cop-out. That is an absolute cop-out. Do you know why it's a cop-out? Because even if you're not happy being in New Orleans Pelicans, you do have a responsibility and a requirement to ensure that you're in tip-top shape to earn the money you're being paid. You being paid a certain amount of money to play a sport has nothing to do with whether or not you like doing it. Fact of the matter is you signed on to receive that $200 million over the next 5 years. So you were okay to sign the deal to receive $200 million, and you're not okay with then doing everything that it takes to ensure that you're in shape. Then that means it's just a money grab. You're gonna take the money and then not really do what it takes to earn the money. That's a money grab. And no one can respect that. I'm all for people making what they deserve, but if you're making what you deserve, go out there and earn it. Go out there and earn it. Black, white, blue, green, whatever. Go out there and earn it because it sets a negative precedent. And you don't know that. You don't realize that the things that you're doing is actually going to affect the people coming after you. You better believe it. That's why they have collective bargaining agreements and they put certain things in place to avoid these things from happening in the future. So to me, I can understand their frustration. I don't really know what's going on in Zion's head. As you guys remember, there was a lot of drama, off the court drama that we're not going to get into because it was just absolutely too crazy to be even talking about it, which shows that Zion doesn't really have his personal life in check to be involved in that amount of drama, especially at that age, is insane. Zion got more drama than TMZ. Like, it's insane. And he's so young. So I can understand their frustration, but hey, they have a right to voice their opinion. So what I want to know from you guys, number one, is what do you think about what Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith said? Number one. Number two, do you think we're going to get to a point in the future where Zion actually takes his weight under control, or do you think, listen, there's a lost cause, this guy's made his money, and I think we need to move on to other players, coming into the NBA, going into the future? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.